Hello everyone, Missy here again today, and we will be doing three-dimensional figures using nets. So on our agenda for today, we have materials and objectives. Unfortunately, no joke for today. I wasn't able to find one that I didn't already use or that Miss Lopez hasn't used either. So we're gonna skip that for today. But if there's something fun you wanted to do that you know about, tell a math joke to your friends or anything that you personally know, you can start with that. Again, I love doing something that just gets me thinking about math that's not about the lesson. So I'm going to start on the materials. So today I do have something a little different on that materials section. So we have paper, pencils, and scissors. So if you were able to get a pair of scissors for the lesson, that'd be great. Throughout, I'll show you what I mean. If you aren't, that's fine. You can just follow along with me. I will be cutting some shapes. So if you were able to do that along with me, that'd be perfect. If not, that's a-okay. And then if you have anything to write with and write on, I couldn't find a pencil at the moment, so I'm using a pen. If you wanted to follow along an electronical device, that works too, but again, if you had scissors and paper, that would be great because we will be cutting some figures and making them into shapes. And then for our objectives for today, it is I can use nets to identify and solve three-dimensional figures. So by the end of the lesson today, you will know what a net means, you'll be able to identify it, and you'll be able to solve it in three-dimensional figures. So I'll give you guys about 2 to 3 minutes to go get some scissors. If you don't have it, you may already have the pencil and paper, but if you don't have scissors right in front of you, I will give you guys time. I'll give you a little bit extra time just in case you can't find it, because sometimes mine just goes missing in my apartment as well. So 2 to 3 minutes, pause here for some scissors and some other materials. All right, so moving forward, we have our start thinking slide. So my first question is, what shape does 6 square folds turn into? So if you just think about in your head, 6 square folds, what might that shape be? And then compare the shape of a cereal box and a square box, and what do these shapes make? So when you have the whole box, what does that make? We know that may be a certain dimensional, but I don't want to give it away. So compare a cereal box to a square box. If most of you guys don't know what a cereal box is, it's going to be like a rectangular box. I don't have one right in front of me, but I do have a shoe box that we could use. So if you don't have a cereal box, compare the shoe box to a square box. So all right, and then are these shapes 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional? So I hope you guys know the difference between the 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. If not, I will go over it after. So if you guys could stop here for about 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes, and then review that, think about that, write those answers down. Even if you aren't sure, just jot down something, and then I will go over the answer with you after. All right, I hope that was enough time for you guys to think about those answers. If not, that's okay. I will review them with you right now. So what shape does 6 square folds turn into? So 6 square folds will turn into a cube. Make sure you understand that it said square folds, so that means they're all going to be the same and they turn into a cube. And then I will show you what that image would look like in the next slide. So then compare the shape of a cereal box and a square box. What shapes do these make? So when we were learning volume, we learned about cubes and rectangular prisms. So if you remember that lesson, a cereal box or the shoe box that I had showed you is going to be a rectangular prism, which means not all the sides will be the same. At least one side will be different, and then a square box, every side will be the same. So a cereal box or the shoe box is going to be the rectangular prism, and then the square box is going to be a cube. And then for the last one, are these shapes two-dimensional or three-dimensional? So these are going to be three-dimensional. Going back to the lesson about volume again, those answers were in cubes, so those are going to be three-dimensional figures. So three-dimensionals are like something you can hold, like the box I showed you, that's three-dimensional. A two-dimensional figure would be like my sheet of paper. So again, remember that in volume, we used cube, we multiplied 3 different side lengths, and those are going to always be three-dimensional. All right, moving forward to our vocabulary section. I have the vocabulary word for a net. So you guys, if you were a little bit confused about what the title was for the lesson, I'm going to tell you what a net is, and then that will make a little bit more sense for you. So a net is a pattern that you can cut and fold to make a model of a solid shape. So if you've seen shown here, this is the cube, just like a dice, and then it was unfolded into this shape here. So that's why I wanted you guys to have a piece of paper. So if you wanted to, so if you guys wanted to draw it out, a sketch first, you could. So let me draw a sketch of this, and then it may be kind of difficult. You guys, if you wanted to be like an artist, you can totally like use a ruler and do this. I'm just gonna hand draw. Hopefully it'll work out for me. I'm not sure. And then okay, so looks about like this. And then what you would do is you could draw those lines just like that one as well. There's one. I think I made it just a little bit too big. That's okay. So then I drew those lines. You don't have to number it in this instance, but you can if you wanted to. So then basically the cube unfolded into this shape. So then let's check to see if it actually did by cutting it. Okay. And this is why I asked if you guys could get some scissors for today, because I think eventually this is like a super fun lesson. You get to cut and fold the shapes to see what they make. So once you draw that, once you do those lines and then you cut, mine did not turn out the best, but it looks like this. Okay. And then we're just going to fold it all in just like that. So fold out all the lines you have. Oh, sorry, I should hold mine up a little bit so you guys can see. So fold it at all the lines you have, just like that. And then, so then once I did all my folds, it kind of looks a little bit like it's really bright. I'm just gonna put it all together, and it makes a cube. You can tape it if you want. If you want to keep it, you guys could use a ruler. So see how mine doesn't exactly fit because I just hand drew it. If you want to use a ruler to make it perfect, you can if you want to. But the gist of it, oh sorry, we made a cube. So we took that image they showed us, cut it out, folded it, and made it into a cube. Just like that. So that's a really great way for you guys to ensure that the nets will help you know for sure if the image shown actually turns into that figure. So what you do is you can cut and then fold it to make the model. And that's what we did. So if you are able to grab some paper, again, if you don't have it, and scissors for moving forward, you might need it. It makes life a lot easier if you guys are able to do that. So now we have examples of nets. So on this image, all of these are supposedly supposed to fold into a cube. I'm not sure, and you're not sure because we haven't tried it. So let's use a piece of paper to fold these 3 into cubes. So let's use a piece of paper, do just like this, and then we already have that first one. So we know that first one already turns into a cube because we already folded that and have that drawn out. And then to make sure that we know that they all turn into a cube shape. So again, not all the shapes that they show you that says, oh, this is a cube, may actually be a cube. So we always need to like double check. So again, I always like to cut and fold, easiest way for me. So if you guys could stop here for about 5 minutes. If you didn't do the first one with me, you guys can draw the shape, cut it again, or if you were a little bit unhappy with that first one, we can try again. So if you guys could stop here for about 5 minutes and cut those and double check to make sure that they are a cube, that's how we're going to use our nets to figure that out. All right, so I am drawing my shapes right now to cut and show you, but I'm in a different location today, so I don't have a table with me. And it's quite difficult to draw this out, but it's okay. We are going to make it work. So if you guys are still working, that's totally fine. Take your time. That's not bad. All right, so I hope the 5 minutes was enough time for you. Wasn't a little enough time for me, but it's okay. So I drew out the 2 images here. And then now I'm going to draw my lines indicated. The dotted lines is where we're going to fold it. So I just drew regular lines to make it easier for me. So there's my line. And then this line. All right, and then I have my lines up here. There we go. There. All right, so I have my 2 shapes, and then I have my 3rd shape. So we know the first one on top does fold into a cube. So I'm going to cut these 2 out for you guys, and we'll do it together. Again, mine may not fold into an exact cube. It may be a little bit smaller or bigger on one side, just because I did hand draw it. You would get a way more accurate fold and cube if you did use a ruler. I didn't require that from you because I actually don't own a ruler, so I wasn't going to make you get something that I didn't have in my household, because I know some of you may be working from home. I'm doing this from home, and it's quite difficult to get those items if you don't have them. This one's just fine. So I have this one cut out. It's like right, there we go. This one cut out. So then I'm going to fold them at those lines, just like this. All right, and then so it's like I made the fold at every line I had, and then I'm going to try to fold it into a cube. Oh, and it does turn into a cube. You can't see very well. Yay! So basically, I have it like this, and then this folded into it. The two hanging off ones, the side ones, turned into my sides, and then the top one just came over. You can see that, what I did. So this one does turn into a cube. So we know that the first one on top turned into a cube, and then the one on the bottom left turned into a cube. So let's find out about the last one. So I just have to cut that out really quickly. All right, so this one is a little uneven, but it's okay. So I have that cut out. I'm going to fold them, the lines, to give it a little bit of a crease so it can just easily turn into that cube if it is a cube. So I have my folds, and let's see, yep, that also turned into a cube. It's a little bit large. I did not cut that very well, but it does turn into a cube. So basically the long flap at the end kind of just comes over for the side, the top, and then the other side to make a cube. That is a little bit uneven, but yes. So these three did turn into a cube. So again, if you fold it, it definitely ensures that we know that it's going to turn into a cube. All right, so I have this one. Try it on your own. Which of these shapes can be made into a cube? So from A to T, these are all shapes. And then I want you guys to see if they can be made into a cube. So if you guys could use a piece of paper to determine if you are unsure. If you think about it, like M, we had already done, so you should know the answer for that one, but if not, that's okay. I will give you guys ample time to do this slide, because if you want to cut each one and try it out, that may take a long time. So if you guys want to stop for like 10 to 15 minutes, and if 15 minutes isn't enough for you, you guys could stop for even longer, as long as you guys are getting the answer for this. So you guys could pause for about 10 to 15 minutes or longer if you need. That would be great. All right, I hope you guys were able to get all of those answers for this one. So I'm not going to cut and do each single one, because that might take me a really long time. So I'm just going to give you guys the answers. So which of these shapes can be made into a cube? So A can be made into a cube. That's that first one in the top corner. B can also be made into a cube. C can be made into a cube. The answer key doesn't have the letters like this, but if you guys had just written it down, it's in the exact same order as the questions I gave you. And then E can be made into a cube, and E, we actually did that one together already, so that was this shape. So E was definitely a cube. And then G, this G was also a cube in the second row now. I was a cube, so we did not do that one yet either, but I'm guessing for I, the two sides fold in and then the middle just folds in together. And then L on the third row turns into a cube. M turns into a cube, which we did for this one. And then we folded it. And then O on the third row, that one turns into a cube. So I hope someone tried that one because I probably wouldn't have guessed that one could turn into a cube just looking at it. So if someone had that, cut out, show a friend if they did not do that one because that one's really interesting. And then P on the last row can be turned into a cube. So if someone also did that one's also pretty interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that one if I didn't try it out on my own. And then on the last one, T can be made into a cube. And we also did that one too. T for a T. All right, so I hope you guys got all those. If you didn't have enough time for that, you can always draw it out because it is so much easier when you use like nets to cut and fold to see if it is a cube or not. And then go further. If you guys wanted to do this section, you guys can pause here. You can move forward to the last slide. If not, this one's just something a little fun. Since I wasn't able to do the joke, I added this one in. So what do these two shapes make when they are folded? So it's already unfolded, and if you guys want to fold them, you guys can also draw and cut and put it together. But if you guys could just stop here for maybe about 3 minutes if you want to try it. If not, if you want to continue cutting from the last slide, that's okay. But if you want to challenge yourself, we didn't learn about this, so if you wanted to try it, that would be great. All right, so both these shapes are actually pyramids. One of them, the top one, has a square base that turns into a pyramid. So it's going to be a square pyramid, so it's going to look like this, and then like this. And then the bottom one is also a pyramid, but it has a triangle base. So instead of having 4 sides, this one will just have 3 sides. 3 sides. I can't do it by hand, sorry. So we'll just have like 3 sides. So they're both pyramids, but one's a square base and the other one's a triangle base. So one will have 4 sides, the other one will have 3 sides. And then our last slide, I have a really fun extra practice here actually. I really enjoyed it. So it's going to be a nets practice. So you just look at this image, you can cut and you can fold it if you wanted to, and then you just guess which one, or you know which one the answer would be. So I know it's this one, so great job. We should all know what this one turns into since we definitely did it together. This one is a cube, so yeah. And then this one looks a little bit funny, but if you look, this one is round, and I don't see any other round ones here, so that one should turn into a cone. All right, so back to our slide here. Again, our objective for today was I can use nets to identify and solve 3-dimensional figures. So we used the nets to identify the figure of a cube, and then we used it to solve to figure out if it was a 3-dimensional figure or not by using the nets to cut and fold to see if it was. So I hope you guys had a great day today, and thank you so much.